no participation in any organization that requires statehood. After the SARS epidemic, and with the swine flu epidemic threatening, the medical community said to the World Health Organization, you've got to take politics out of this. It's too important to have Taiwan in the World Health Organization. It's too important to the health of the people of the world. This should not be about politics. This should be a medical issue. When Hillary Clinton appeared before the United States Senate in January to be confirmed as Secretary of State, one of the senators asked her, what are you going to do about Taiwan's exclusion from the World Health Organization? And Hillary said, I'll see they get there. I'll work with the Taiwan government. Well, guess what? It's not the Taiwan government that's been keeping them out. It's the Chinese government. Margaret Chang, head of the World Health Organization, is Chinese. She's taking directions from Hu Jintao. That's why Taiwan isn't in the World Health Organization. But Hillary was good to her word. She did work with the Taiwan government. She got them to accept observer status, one-time observer status, as Chinese Taipei. Chinese Taipei. In April, almost the same day that Judge Janice Rogers Brown was talking about the political purgatory of Taiwan, Hillary Clinton issued a release saying, I'm happy that Taiwan is going to be at the World Health Assembly as Chinese Taipei. Well, that got around Bill Clinton's no, because they weren't there as in a statehood status, just observers as a province of China. And it stuck, not just at that conference. Just last week I was looking at a map, an epidemic map. The World Health Organization issues regular maps showing outbreak of how many diseases are in this country and how many in that country. And there's Taiwan, labeled Chinese Taipei, right there on the map. The World Health Organization map, just last week. So Hillary Clinton didn't do that on her own. She reports to President Obama. So that's another clue that Mr. Obama is not going to give us the change that he promised in the campaign. And what's the third clue? Well, it involves Korea. Korea. That place that has trapped Taiwan for 6 decades in the sands of time, unable to go forward, unable to have self-determination, trapped by the events in Korea. Well, the events in Korea now are pretty scary. They tested a nuclear bomb. They've been testing missiles, long-range missiles, short-range missiles. People are worried. They're scared in South Korea. So, President Obama appointed a man by the name of Stephen Bosworth to be his special representative to North Korea to solve this problem. I'd never heard of Stephen Bosworth before. Turns out he was Bill Clinton's ambassador to South Korea. He lives in Boston. That's where I'm from. I've been studying Taiwan lately. Now suddenly a Boston resident is the special envoy of the president to North Korea. I decided it's important to know, what does Mr. Bosworth think about Taiwan? So I looked around, and I discovered that Mr. Bosworth wrote a book 2 years ago. A book called Chasing the Sun, Rethinking East Asian Policy. Well, East Asian policy needs some rethinking, at least about Taiwan. Needs a lot of rethinking. In fact, it doesn't need rethinking. It needs thinking in the first place. thinking that hasn't been going on, thinking it's been ignored for 64 years. Well, here's what Mr. Bosworth, the advisor to President Obama, will be telling him. These are Bosworth's words. I'm only going to read one sentence. He's got 6 pages in here on Taiwan, but his one-sentence summary says it all. The United States should defend the status quo by continuing to emphasize to Taiwan that independence is not an acceptable goal and that any effort in that direction endangers United States interests. Well, how does independence in Taiwan endanger the United States? This is the man that's going to advise the president on what to do about North Korea? This is the man who's going to be negotiating with China because China is the only leverage we have over North Korea. Will China do that for free? Will China tell North Korea to take away their nuclear weapons and stop testing missiles for free? Or will they charge a price to Mr. Bosworth? And what price will that be? What does China want? Taiwan. And if they can't do it, the Chinese can't do it that way, they've got another route. United States politicians have been steadily dispatched. Last week, Senator John Kerry from Massachusetts was in China. Nancy Pelosi went over to China. Hillary Clinton went over there. And what are they asking for help with? The United States economy. All this bailout money, all this stimulus package, all this spending of money we don't have, that President Obama's been doing, and Bush before him. Chinese money. In the last year, China has bought $878 billion of U.S. Treasury notes. China controls the U.S. economy. What happens when they call the bill in? So between the fact that China now has got our hand in the America's pocket, and they've got North Korea threatening nuclear scares, and the man who's supposed to solve the problem says Taiwan's independence threatens the United States. And you've got the president ignoring the judge who talks about the political purgatory, change is not going to come. So what to do? The danger to Taiwan is great. I don't think from a military invasion, but from a political sellout. What to do? There's 2 things to do. There's something that the people of Taiwan need to do, and there's something that the people in America need to do. In Taiwan, the people need to make their voices heard. The march that occurred on May 17th needs to be repeated and repeated. And the marches need to get bigger and louder and stronger. And not just march down any old street. Surround the U.S. Consul office. Every day, the U.S. diplomats should have to wade through crowds of protesters to get into their office. If you cannot make them see the light, we must make them feel the heat. Here in the United States, the Roger Lynn case will go forward to the Supreme Court. There may be relief, or there may not be. The case is a solid legal case, but the intrusion of politics threatens. It's a question mark. In the meantime, the public, each of us, need to contact our members of Congress and our senators and demand congressional hearings. The United States Congress has not had a hearing about Taiwan for years. It's time that Congress schedule hearings. Bring people in. Bring in groups like this. Let the voice of the people be heard. That's our challenge. Now, it's been a difficult talk to listen to. It was a difficult talk to prepare to. I didn't come with a message really of good cheer and joy. I came with a sorry history, a shameful history of misconduct by American presidents. So rather than send everybody out on this nice, beautiful day with a frown on your face, I'd like to ask everybody right now to stand up for Taiwan. Get up on your feet. Stand up for Taiwan. And let's give a couple of cheers for Taiwan. Taiwan! Taiwan!